What's going on, boys? Welcome back. It's your boy Max. Today's video gonna be a very special one. Very special one. Today marks 4 years since I've been sober from smoking weed every single day for 5, almost 6 years straight. All day, every day. And smoking weed literally almost ruined my entire life, right? It was one of the best decisions that I made to quit smoking. And I told myself, I said on my Instagram that I wouldn't make too many videos talking about vices on my channel just because I feel like it attracts the wrong audience sometimes. But this moment was just too important and too pivotal in my entire self-improvement journey for me not to share it with you guys. And if I can save somebody's life with this video, then I will make this video, right? Because I wish I had someone tell me 4 years ago that it would be all good. Because let me tell you guys like this, right? I started smoking weed when I was 14 years old, right? I was 14 and I just did it recreationally. It used to give me like crazy panic attacks, right? But I got used to it. And eventually, I'm only a sophomore in high school at the time. Eventually, I started smoking every single day. And so did all of my friends in high school. And so we built this identity of being the potheads at school, right? I'm sure you guys watching this, you guys know there was always that group in high school known as the potheads, right? And a lot of people in my school smoked, but our group was always known for being like the fly pothead guys, right? So me and my boys, we smoked every single day. I'm talking, I would get to high school at like 7:30 a.m. School would start at like 8 a.m. Sometimes it would literally be like 20 degrees outside, wintertime in New York City, snowing. And we would wait in the park, in the cold, for the plug to arrive. And then spend what little money we had on weed. Smoke before going to school. Hotbox, right? Smoke inside of the bathroom at the park. And then come to class, usually around second, third period sometimes, smelling like weed, high off my ass. And this was every single day. Every single day. Especially junior and senior year of the high school, that was when it was like the worst, right? Because when I was 14, 15, I did it. I smoked consistently, but it got really bad when I was 17, 16 years old, right? And let me just explain why I started smoking in the first place. I've always been into rap music, right? When I was a young kid, I thought I was gonna be a rapper. And it's like every song that you hear, they talk about smoking, they talk about drugs. And so I wanted to be like the rappers. I thought, oh, if you're a rapper, you have to start smoking weed, right? And so that's what I did, right? Started smoking, and the thing is, the smoking led to other drugs, right? People love to say that smoking weed is like not harmful. It's not a gateway drug. Yes, it is. 1000% it is, right? Because I went from smoking weed to doing Percocets, doing Xans, Vyvanse in high school as a 16-year-old kid, and acid, right? And lean. All of these fucking drugs at 16 years old. All because of what? The influence in the music. And then I started to convince myself that I had these major problems in my life, right? And that I'm just numbing the pain, right? I'm sure if you're dealing with this right now, you're telling yourself, oh, I have a lot of shit going on in my life. This is something to just de-stress me, something to take the edge off, something to take the pain away. Well, listen, I had those same thoughts, right? I had those same thoughts. But guess what? What I realized was that smoking just amplified those problems. Because here's the thing about smoking weed that nobody tells you. They make it seem like it's harmless. They condone you. They legalize it, right? But they don't tell you that when you smoke, it makes you feel good about wherever you're at in life right now. All of your problems tend to go away for that 2 hour, maybe 3 hour high that you have, right? And so you could be sitting in a pile of shit and it's gonna feel like heaven. You're gonna feel like you're sitting on a fucking luxury couch just because you're smoking. Because it literally makes you feel good about yourself. It makes you feel good when you shouldn't be good. When we are stressed, when we feel pain in our body, that's a sign from our body. That's a sign from our soul. That's a sign from our whole organism that we need to lock the fuck in. And I just spit all over the camera, but that we need to lock in. That there's something going wrong. And that's why we feel this way, right? Pain is just an indicator. You understand? It's like when you go to the gym, you're working out. If you take a painkiller while going to the gym, you can literally break your arm and not feel it and just keep working out. You're gonna keep working out with the broken arm. It's gonna make you feel like you don't have a broken arm. But what are you gonna do? You're just gonna amplify the problem and your arm is gonna get more and more and more damaged. And then the high wears off and you're left with a fucking broken arm. You feel me? Well, it's the same thing in your life, right? But I wasn't listening to all that, right? I wasn't listening to nobody telling me that, oh, smoking is bad for you. I thought it was cool. It gave me status in school, right? It literally became my identity. And I remember when I was in college, when I just started off, I came into college with the idea of being a physical therapist. And that's what I studied in college, right? But I remember I had this one moment where I was like, am I gonna have to stop smoking to become a physical therapist? Because I was afraid they would do like drug tests, right? Which I'm pretty sure they do if you're a PT. And even though like me being a physical therapist was like 10 years away from, me at 18 years old in college, I was already literally about to sacrifice the career that I wanted for weed. And that's how you know it's bad. That's how you know it's bad. I was willing to sacrifice hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year helping people with physical therapy because I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to smoke. And I felt like I couldn't quit, right? I felt like there's no way I'm ever gonna quit. Like, weed is just my drug. Weed is a part of me. I thought I was gonna be smoking weed till the day I died. And it was so bad that every single morning I would wake up, take a hit of my wax pen, go back to sleep, wake up, take another hit of my wax pen, go make breakfast, high as fuck, go to school, wait for the plug to pull up, smoke, go to school late, smelling like weed, risk getting arrested, right? Risk getting in trouble, being in the streets, going to people's homes, hanging out with people who I really shouldn't be hanging around the wrong crowds in Brooklyn, New York, right? Hanging out with drug dealers, hanging out with gay members. That was my life in high school as a 16-year-old kid. And it was all because of weed. I had a girlfriend and I literally couldn't spend a single minute of time with my girlfriend unless I smoked. Every single time I had to go eat, I literally had to smoke. I couldn't eat unless I smoked. I couldn't go to sleep unless I smoked. I didn't want to listen to music unless I smoked. I didn't want to hit the gym unless I smoked. Everything in my life revolved around me smoking. And I was aware of that. But I just thought, hey, that's just me, right? Weed is a part of me. Weed is just who I am, right? It's my identity. And that's the scariest shit. Because when you feel like it's a part of you, you wouldn't just cut your left arm off, right? You wouldn't cut off your right hand, would you? Well, I felt like weed was my fucking right hand. I felt like I couldn't do shit without it. And that's when I knew it was bad, right? And so I talked about quitting to my boys. I was like, yo, let's just quit. Let's give it a break. And I would go maybe a few days. I think the longest at that time, I went like a week and still couldn't do it. Couldn't go longer than a week. My friends would fold sometimes faster than me, right? And so it was tough because I was hanging around people who made it even more challenging for me. The only people I hung around were people that smoked, right? Or people that were even more addicted than me, right? And so I had no way out, no way out. And this was the moment where it all changed. I was sitting at my desk, right? I still remember this night. Well, let me take you to the night before. Night before, I was in college. We were doing online classes. And at that point, from like August to around like, from like October to like December of that year, it was 2021, right? 2021, from like October to December, I was sober. Somewhere around there, right? I don't remember the exact time frame, but I went like 3 months sober. And this was the longest I've ever went in my life. The longest I went without weed. You feel me? And I thought I was done, right? Yo, I'm good. And then wintertime came around. And I used to get very emotional in the wintertime. Just like New York, wintertime, it gets cold, it's like freezing, it gets depressing, right? And this was the first winter I was going without weed, Usually I would just rely on the weed to uplift my mood, take that little edge off. But this time I had no weed, right? This time I was sober. And so I was holding on. And then I had this final project for one of my classes, for biology class, because I was studying physical therapy science, right? And we had to do a group presentation. But since it was online, we had to do it on Zoom, right? And so that presentation, man, I was working so fucking hard on that presentation, the final project. And it stressed me out. It stressed me out a lot, right? So much to the point that I remember one day I was working my job that I had at the time. I was delivering medicine. And I don't know, I just lost all self-control. I called up the plug. He met me while I was in the midst of a delivery. I copped a Stizzy Pod, which is just a wax pen, if you guys know what that is. And I copped for the first time in like 3-4 months after being sober. I smoked, and that shit hit me like a truck. Panic attack, straight up. The anxiety was way up at work, right? But then I was like, fuck, I just broke my streak, and then I got into this loop. I was like, yo, well, I already broke my streak, so I might as well, make the use of this pod, right? Because I spent like $80 on this wax pod, right? So I was like, yo, you know what? I'll just finish this pod and then I'll try to quit again. And so the next week, I had that final project. And it was stressing me out. And I remember I smoked. I took like 3 hits of that wax pen before my presentation. Guys, that presentation, I had to read like the PowerPoint, similar to how I do videos on this, right, on my YouTube videos. I had to read it in front of the class, and I caught the worst panic attack I've ever had in my life. I'm talking like my heart was going fast as fuck, just beating, right? And my voice kept cracking. Like, that shit was so embarrassing. It cracked like fucking 20 times. It felt like I had this knot in my throat. I couldn't speak. I remember the presentation was over and I just felt like my face was so hot. So fucking hot. And I was like, damn, what the fuck happened? What happened? I used to be this confident guy, right? I used to have attraction from women. And in high school, right? Even when I was smoking weed in high school, girls found it cool. But as I started smoking more and more and more and more, that shit killed my confidence because I kept ignoring the problems that I had. I kept feeling comfortable and I lost all self-respect. Every time I told myself I gotta stop smoking, and I didn't, that killed my self-respect. And that's the worst thing that you could have as a man. It's to kill your self-respect, right? It's not about the fucking serotonin, the dopamine levels. Yeah, all of that shit is important. But the most important is your self-respect. And that's what you lose when you smoke. That's what you lose when you drink. That's what you lose when you do the pills. That's what you lose when you beat your dick, right? And you watch porn. That's why you feel like shit after. It's because of the self-respect. And because I lost so much self-respect when I really got into those dark times, 2020, 2021, when the world was shut down, when I was isolated, I started smoking more and more. I stopped taking care of my looks. I'm gonna pop up pictures as I talk, right? This is what I look like, okay? Looked like a fucking caveman in this shit. My face kept breaking out. My hair, my beard was long as fuck, right? I had a little bit of muscle mass that I gained in high school. Lost it all, right? Lost it all because I started doing other drugs as well, right? The munchies, I would wake up in the middle of the night with munchies. Literally 3 a.m. I would wake up, eat Chips Ahoy cookies, and then go back to sleep. And then I wondered why I had a skinny fat physique. All because of the weed. So it killed my physique, killed my looks, killed my social skills. I couldn't talk to people. I couldn't talk to strangers. I used to be this guy who had pretty good social skills, right? I could speak to anybody anytime. I feel like weed made me more confident. And then all of a sudden it was like a 180. All of a sudden I needed weed, but whenever I would smoke, I would become like a retard, for lack of better terms. I couldn't speak to people. I couldn't say like simple sentences. My voice would shake. I would have anxiety speaking to people, speaking to women. Forget about it. You feel me? I feel like everybody, as I was walking down the street in public, I felt like everybody knew I was high. Everybody's judging me. I feel like everywhere I walked in, everyone was just judging me for being this pothead. But in reality, I was judging myself everywhere I went. So I had all this tension, all this bitterness to the world. I was like, nah, they just hate it. They're not cool like me. They don't smoke. They don't do this. They don't understand my pain. But nah, bro. I hated myself. I hated myself, and I knew that I was incapable of quitting. Every time I tried to quit, I didn't do it. I kept breaking promises. I felt like a fucking fraud. Straight up. And so everywhere I went, I was judging myself. That's why I had that panic attack. But that panic attack was like a fucking wake-up moment for me. And the next day after that project, that group presentation, I remember sitting at my desk. I was high off my ass. And I just got into an argument, a very bad one, with my parents. All right? And I'm high off my ass. I open up my laptop and I check my grades. And I was failing like most of my college classes. And you know, college is no joke. Like, you fail a class, you gotta pay to, you know, like, time is money in college. You know what I'm saying? It's not like high school. College, that shit is on you. So I was taking a hard curriculum. You feel me? Like a medical track. So I was failing like all my classes, chemistry class, biology class, and I'm just looking at my grades, high off my ass. And I was like, wow, what the fuck happened to me? What happened? What happened? And I put my head down just like this, and I started crying out of frustration. And I don't know what possessed me that day, but I just took my phone and I was like, fuck this. Whatever it takes for me to quit, whatever it takes for me to quit smoking, I'm gonna do it. There is no way that I'm gonna live like this. Because my entire life, I felt like I had fire within me. I felt like I had potential to be great. You understand? But as I kept smoking, I felt that fire dwindle down. I felt like my potential was just like going down and down and down. And then I literally didn't recognize myself when I looked inside the mirror. You understand? And so I was like, and when I had that breakdown, when I was at my desk looking at the failing grades high off my ass, it's like I had a little glimpse of that fire within me. A little glimpse. It was almost like God just like shined this light and was like, you have an opportunity. This is your one chance. This is your one chance to make the right decision, to actually work towards being the best version of yourself. Or you keep going down this path, you're gonna end up being homeless, a bum, and just like the complete opposite of what you always envisioned yourself to be. I've literally seen these fucking visions in my head, guys. I don't know what it was. Call it God, call it whatever you want. But that's what it was. So I had that vision and I was like, there's no way. I'm going all in. I'm quitting. That's it. I went through so much fucking pain, so much trauma, that it forced me to change. A lot of times, we don't change until pain forces us to change. A lot of times, we may know that what we're doing is wrong, but we still don't make an effort to change until pain, until life forces us, until life brings trauma into our lives, until someone has to die, right? Until you have to get kicked out, until, your credit card gets shut down, right? Until you get sick. That's when we change, because we have no other choice. You feel me? So first thing I did was I cut off my plug, I blocked his number, and I deleted it. I told all my boys, I'm done. I'm done smoking, and I can't hang out with y'all for the time being, right? Because they were still smoking. And so I went a week and I kept the pod, actually. That I still have that same pod in my bag, hidden away. That same pod, that very last pod that I bought, I never finished it. And I was like, I'm gonna save this because I know I literally seen this fucking day coming. I was like, one day I'm gonna look back at this pod and I'm gonna be like, damn, I came a long fucking way. You know what? I think I'm gonna go find that pod right now and try to show it for you guys. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. This right here is the last very pod that I bought 4 years ago when I quit smoking. And I held on to the same pod because I knew one day I'm gonna look back at this. I'm gonna look back at this pen. I'm gonna look back at this wax pod. And I'm gonna think I went a long fucking way. That's literally what I told myself. I had the choice to just throw it out, but I knew, like I really had that belief that I knew that was gonna be the last time. I knew that was gonna be the last time I ever smoked. And so that's why I held on to this. It's crazy, right? And so, once I quit, my boys would call me out and I wouldn't go out. I stopped hanging out for a few months, right? For specifically like a month or two, I stopped just because I had to get away from it. But 2 weeks, no smoking, it was good. Like it felt so much more different. I started to actually enjoy things again. And then around 3 months, that's when I was like, yeah, that's it, right? That's it. And I'm not gonna talk about like, oh, this happens when you're at 6 months sober, this happens when you're at 1 year sober. Because the truth is, the benefits, you're gonna feel them instantly. But you're only gonna feel the benefits of not smoking, of quitting your vice, of quitting whatever vice you have, once you know deep down that's the last time. You know deep down that's the last time. And quitting smoking weed after smoking every day, all day for 5 years straight, brought back my self-respect. It gave me so much confidence to go after everything that I ever wanted. It got me it got me in the best shape of my life. I used to skip the gym to go smoke. I used to smoke before and after the gym. Literally be under the squat bar high as hell. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't serious about anything, and it was because I knew I had to stop smoking. But then I wouldn't do it. So my subconscious mind didn't treat myself serious. You understand? That's why. So it didn't take the gym serious. It didn't take my career serious. It didn't take shit serious in my life. Because every single time I told myself that I'm gonna do something, my mind was like, nah, no, you're not. You're a liar. You remember how many times you said you're gonna quit smoking? You still haven't done it until I did. And that is why it saved me. Because it brought back my self-respect. It allowed me to get in the best shape of my life. Literally. It allowed me to finally regain that confidence within myself, start taking care of my looks, to actually attract women again. The amount of women, the quality of women specifically, that I started attracting after I quit smoking weed is insane. Insane. Because I was finally aligned with the masculine version of myself. It's not masculine to smoke weed. It's not. When you smoke, when you drink, when you do whatever you do, when you watch porn, you're escaping your reality. There's something that you are not happy about, and so you need advice to take it off. Take it off of your mind. But masculine energy is about taking control of your life. You understand? That's what it is. And so once I stopped, it was like all the problems that I had in life, me failing classes, me being out of shape, me not attracting the woman that I want, it was like all in front of me, right? And I was like, okay, cool. These are my problems. Now I get to actually work on them and solve them. And I did. Because back then, I was just putting a screen, blocking myself away from the problems while in the background, they just amplified. But I was blocking myself with the smoking, with the drinking, with the partying, with the clubs. You feel me? So what are you doing right now that you know you shouldn't be doing? What are you doing right now that you are doing just to escape whatever problems that you have? Are you watching porn because you can't attract women, because you can't attract the woman that you want? Majority of the time, that's what it is, right? Are you smoking? Are you drinking? Because what? Because you know that you need to get in the best shape of your life, but you just keep neglecting it? Sure, I know your pain, G. Family issues come up. Life comes up. Life is fucking hard, especially as a man. I know your pain, bro. I know sometimes it feels like all it takes is like that one hit and it just numbs the pain, and it makes you feel like life isn't worth ending. I know that feeling, bro. That's why I'm making this video, because I wish I had somebody make this video 4 years ago to let me know that everything would have been okay. To let me know that I would literally be making a living, have a business, coaching men off of my personal development. Because I used to be the complete opposite of what I am now. And the fact that I get to coach other men through what I did myself, my own personal development journey, is a fucking blessing. It's a blessing. Because I would have never thought, if you would have told the Max from 5 years ago, 6 years ago, that, oh, you're going to be coaching men, teaching them how to, control their habits, teaching them how to get in great shape, teaching them how to attract women, I would have laughed in your face. I'm going to teach people how to, control their vices? Fuck out of here. Why would I do that? Smoking is good. I'm gonna be smoking for life. Oh, I'm gonna teach men how to get in shape, bro. I'm not even in shape. Oh, I'm gonna teach men how to attract women. I don't even attract women, right? I'm a social fucking NPC. It's what I was, an NPC, right? So it's insane, and I wish I had someone make this video tell me everything would have been okay. So that's why I'm making this video. Everything will be okay, but you just have to drop it. That's just the cold hard truth. You just have to drop it. Whatever advice came to your mind when you clicked on this video, that's the advice you have to drop. Your life won't end. Your life will only blossom. I'm telling you right now, G. I'm telling you right now. I don't want to make this a 3-hour video. I can if I really wanted to. I could break down everything that happens, all the lessons. The biggest lesson that you can get out of this is the number one. You realize that those people that you hang out with are not really your friends. They're just your smoke buddies. They're just your drinking buddies. They're just the guys that you hang out with when you want to have a good time. And I'll tell you what, 4 years sober, I got guys from my old friend group hit me up, ask me for advice on how to quit smoking, telling me that that same friend group still smokes, still does all of this bad shit that they were doing back then. And I've seen all of this happening. That's why I had to make that sacrifice, bro. You will make other friends. You will meet people who are on the same path as you. I promise, G, I promise. But you have to separate yourself from the fucking pack. Because nobody who's successful, nobody who's hardworking wants to associate with someone who has vices. Straight like that. If I meet someone who has vices, yeah, I understand your situation, bro. I understand. I've been there. But I don't want to be friends with you. I might dap you up. We cool, right? I'm gonna say what's up to you. I'm not gonna treat you like a nobody, right? But I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to hang out with you. I'm not gonna invite you to events. You think people really want, like successful people really want to hang out with someone like that? And I don't care, when I say successful, I don't mean guys who even make a lot of money, because there's plenty of guys watching this. There's plenty of guys who make a lot of money and they still have vices. They still pay for escorts. They still beat their dick. They still smoke. They still drink. They still party every single weekend. They still escape, because the money is not a solution. The money is great. You need the money. But the money is not a solution. Money just amplifies who the fuck you are. So if you're a pothead, if you're a loner, if you're an NPC, if you're a loser, if you're a gooner, if you're an alcoholic, the money will just amplify that. You're going to be buying more alcohol. You're going to start paying for escorts. You're going to start buying OnlyFans subscriptions. You're going to be flying women out. You're going to start buying more weed. What do you think is going to happen? You think the money is just going to simply make you quit your vices? No, it's not. You need to get your head in the fucking game, bro. You need to wake the fuck up. This world is real. Your life is not that long. It's not that long. The last thing you want to do is be a fucking 40-year-old pothead. All these guys from my high school, even the guys who didn't smoke, who used to make fun of me for it, because they are athletes. They say, oh, we're athletes, we're not going to smoke. Look at them now. Fat, out of shape, potheads. Looking like shit. Coming to me for fitness advice, asking me how did they quit their vices. Same guys who used to talk down on me for smoking back then. Same guys. So fuck who's around you. They don't care about you. They care about themselves. If you want to save them, if you truly care about them, like you say you do, like you think you do, then you must be willing to save yourself first. Because nobody around me was trying to save me. Everyone was condoning the smoking. Everyone thought it was cool. When I stopped smoking, people thought I was a weirdo, right? They were like, what the fuck happened to this guy? He just turned into a lame. Stopped going out, stopped partying. Oh yeah, he stopped smoking. Yeah. Let me tell you what, bro. You feel like you're the chosen one? Prove it. Chosen ones aren't chosen. They choose themselves. You think that you're chosen? You say that you're chosen? You say that you have all this fucking potential within you? Prove it. Set the fucking example. Set the example for all your boys. Set the example for all your loved ones. Set the example for your family. Your whole family eats like shit. Your whole family drinks, alcoholics. That shit runs in the family. Cool. Break the fucking gap. You understand? It takes one person. It takes one person to fucking set your family on the right course. To protect your kids, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren from being alcoholics, from being smokers, from being low-life losers, from being out of shape. It takes you. You need to be that fucking person. Stop waiting around on Superman to come down from the fucking sky and save you. You need to be that person for your loved ones. If you're not willing to sacrifice some substances for that, just a little temporary discomfort, yeah, you're gonna go a week, 2 weeks, maybe a few months. But I'm telling you right now, 6 months, you go without alcohol. 6 months, you go without drinking. 6 months, you go without fapping. You will get over it. I don't get any urges to smoke. Any. I get flashbacks once in a while. If I'm doing something that I used to do while I used to smoke, I would get like a flashback of what it would be like when I'll be high. But I'm high off life right now. I'm high off my business. I'm high off getting real results. Life is my fucking video game now. You understand? I'm just focused on how can I get better every single day. How can I get better? How can I improve? How can I get more fit? How can I get more jacked? How can I look better? How can I have better habits? How can I be more dialed in? How can I be more disciplined? How can I be more attractive? How can I make more money? Now how much more weed can I smoke? Now how much more drinks can I have? Now how much more all-nighters can I pull? Fuck all of that shit. You're not in high school anymore, bro. You're a grown man. So start acting like it. This video is not about how to quit. This video is about you need to quit. You just need to quit. So just do it. I could give you a whole fucking system. I made a video on how to quit your vices. If you really want to, check that video out. I'm gonna put it in the description. But the truth is, you just need to quit. This is not a systems video. This is me waking you the fuck up and telling you 4 years of me being sober. And it's the best decision I've ever made in my life. Everything in my life has improved. I've saved my family relationships. I've saved my relationships with women. I've gotten to the best shape of my life. I've made so much more fucking money off of my own personal development. I've had so much more opportunities come my way. Everywhere I go, I get respect. And I can talk about this with other people. I can actually make a positive impact on the world. Not just go out in public, smoke a J, think that I'm the shit, I'm the fucking man. Yeah, smoking in public in the park while there's little kids watching. The fuck is that, man? What the fuck is that? Set a good example. Set a good example. Set a good example. If you really feel like you're chosen, choose yourself and take that fucking leap. It's not even a leap, but it's necessary. That's all I gotta say in this one, man. That's all I gotta say. If you wanna quit, you've made it this far, it's your chance. This is your chance. You can have the same sober anniversary as me, right? It's not gonna be easy. If you want to, you can hit me up. Tell me about your situation. Tell me about all that you're going through. And I'll tell you exactly what I told you in this video. You need to wake the fuck up. You need to choose yourself and you need to get after it. You need to get after it. Because this right here won't save you. This right here will be the reason for your downfall. This little thing right here will ruin your life if you let it. The last thing you want to do is look back at the past 20 years of your life and it's just faded. You've been faded through all of it. There's so many family events, so many like key moments in my life, key experiences, canon events, right? That I don't even remember because I was so high, right? I would be high, turn me into a target. I would get into fights, right? Almost got jumped by like 20 guys. All because I was doing bullshit. I was in the streets. I was doing stupid shit, running my mouth. hanging out with the wrong people, making the dumb decisions, all because of the weed. I didn't grow up like that, but it changed me. It changed everything about me. But you know what? If I could go back and never smoke, I would. I wouldn't do it. I would still smoke if I could go back, because everything that I learned when I was doing that turned me into the man I am now. And I'm so proud to say that, I'm not in the position I want to be in. I'm nowhere near where I'm headed. But this is one of the best things I've ever done in my life. And that's to quit smoking. Why? It may not seem so significant, can it? Because this was the one time that I finally took control of my life. If you've never smoked, if you never drank, if you never had a vice, and you're watching this, you don't know what it feels like to literally lose control of your entire life due to a substance, due to some sort of external thing. You understand? If you've always been in control, you're just this perfect man, right? Which I don't think anybody watching this is. Quite frankly, I believe we all have our demons, right? Then you wouldn't know what it's like, because it takes a lot more challenges for the sinner to recognize his sin and to repent and never do it again than the guy who grew up righteous and just was a righteous angel his entire life. The sinner who changed his ways is always praised more. He has a closer relationship to God because he had to go through more shit. He had to consciously make that decision to change. He wasn't grown up into the righteous life. Everything around him was against him. Everything was working against him, and yet he still made that decision to change, right? So if you're a man who's trying to master his habits and unlock the version of yourself that you were always meant to be, regain that self-respect and unlock your full potential, unlock that fire that you know you have within you. You felt like you chose in your entire life. And the vices, the smoking, the drinking, the partying, the porn, all of that has been restricting you, repressing you. If you want my personal help, I don't really take on guys anymore who just come to me because they want to quit vices. Your goal needs to be larger than their vices. When I say quit vices, you can't just come to me and ask me to help you quit smoking weed. I'm just going to tell you, hey bro, watch my video and lock in. But if you're trying to master your habits, replace your negative habits with positive habits that help you get into the best shape of your life, improve your presentation, make you have an autopilot dating life, and most importantly, regain your self-confidence, your self-respect. Walk everywhere you go like you're the shit and you know it. Finally have that belief in yourself. Well, then we can talk. Then you can click the link in the description to book a one-on-one call with me to see if you're a good fit for my coaching program. And I'm just letting you know right now, my coaching program is not cheap. My coaching program is for the elite, for the guys who want to be elite, right? Not just high school kids that want to quit smoking. I know your struggle. But if that's you, my coaching program is not for you. If all you want to do is quit smoking, not for you, right? Just watch my videos, watch my How to Quit Vices video. That should help. DM me on Instagram, we could talk. But if you are truly trying to make a whole transformation, quit your vices, master your habits, reclaim your masculine edge, get into the best shape of your life, and attract the woman that you want and you deserve, well then, click the link in the description, book a one-on-one call with me, see if you're a good fit. I'll let you know exactly what we do in the coaching program. I'm going to get to know a little bit more about your situation. If you're a man in your 20s and your 30s, you're dealing with a bad habit that's been holding you back from getting into the best shape of your life, that's been ruining your relationships, that's been holding you back from getting the woman that you want. So many guys I speak to in their late 30s, in their 40s, they're watching porn their entire life and their mind is corrupted. Ruined marriages, ruined relationships, socially awkward. I can help you. Only if you want to be helped. This is your chance. This is your chance to finally go all in on the best version of you. But I can't force you to do it. You must choose yourself. You understand? I did it. I'm no better than you. I just made that decision. I just made that decision. And if I never would have made that decision, I would have, this channel wouldn't have existed. I wouldn't have been alive by now. You feel me? I literally wouldn't have. I'm letting you know right now, I'm making this video because I care about you guys. And that's it. I could just make dating content. I could just make fitness content, right? This type of video doesn't really attract my ideal audience, but it's a very necessary one. And it's one that I hold true to my heart. You feel me? So that's all I gotta say for this video, man. If you guys liked, make sure to leave a like, obviously. Subscribe. I'll see you boys in the next one. Always feel free to comment. Always feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. The link is in the description. Tell me about your situation. Tell me how my videos have impacted your life. I love to hear that shit. And it makes the Max from 4 or 5 years ago so fucking proud, because I wish I would have had someone like that back then to help me out, right? I'll see you boys in the next one. Stay dangerous.